I opened my apartment door expecting a quiet foreign exchange student. Instead, I got a 6-foot-tall purple alien goddess who apparently forgot to pack her entire wardrobe. My name is Ethan Brooks, and I'm an idiot. Not because I signed up for the intergalactic roommate program. That was actually pretty smart. 50% off rent, cultural exchange credits, and the chance to meet someone from another world? Sign me up. No, I'm an idiot because when I filled out the application, I specifically checked open-minded and culturally flexible. I should have read the fine print. The door swung open on a Tuesday afternoon, and there she stood. Zyra, from the planet Vexara Prime. 6 feet of shimmering purple skin, long peach-pink hair that flowed down to her waist, and eyes that sparkled like crushed diamonds. Also, completely, utterly, absolutely naked. "Hello, Earth friend Ethan," she said brightly, extending her hand. "I am Zyra of House Moonwhisper. I am deeply honored to share living space with you." I stood there, frozen, my brain short-circuiting like a laptop dropped in a bathtub. My eyes didn't know where to look, ceiling, floor, the hallway behind her, anywhere but straight ahead. Hi. I stammered, my face heating up like a furnace. She tilted her head, confused. "Is something wrong? Did I mispronounce your name? The Earth language has many strange mouth sounds." No, it's just..." I grabbed my jacket from the hook and thrust it toward her. "Please, wear this, please." Zyra looked at the jacket like I'd handed her a dead fish. "Why would I wear your outer skin? Is this an Earth greeting custom? Do we trade garments?" You're not wearing anything," I finally blurted out. She looked down at herself, then back at me. "Yes? Should I be wearing something else?" "I have my identification crystal." She pointed to a glowing pendant floating near her collarbone, which I absolutely did not notice because I was very carefully studying the doorframe. "Clothes!" I practically shouted. "Humans wear clothes, like all the time, especially when meeting strangers." Zyra's eyes widened with genuine curiosity. "Oh, this is the fabric custom they mentioned in orientation. I thought it was optional, like hats." She took the jacket and held it up. "How does this work? Does it cover the temperature-sensitive areas?" "It covers all the areas," I said weakly. She draped it over one shoulder like a fancy scarf. "Like this?" "No. Arms through the holes, zip up the front. You know what? Just come inside before Mrs. Patterson calls the cops." I grabbed my 2 suitcases from the hallway, her only luggage, and pulled her into the apartment. As I shut the door, I caught a glimpse of my elderly neighbor peering through her peephole across the hall. Great. I'd be getting a strongly worded note by morning. Zyra wandered into my living room, still wearing my jacket wrong, examining everything with childlike wonder. "Your dwelling is very small but cozy. On Vexara, we live in crystalline pods that shift with our moods." "That's neat," I muttered, trying to figure out how to have this conversation. "Listen, Zyra, about the clothes thing. You said all the time," she interrupted, turning to face me. The jacket slipped off her shoulder. I quickly looked at my shoes. "Does that mean you wear fabric even when sleeping? Even when bathing? Even when mating?" I choked on air. "Mating? We just met." "I am simply asking about your customs," she said innocently. "On my world, we only wear ceremonial robes for sacred rituals or in cold weather. The body is natural. Why would we hide it?" "Because." I struggled to find words that weren't just because that's how it is. Because humans have privacy and boundaries and shame. Shame? She tested the word like it tasted bitter. "You feel shame about your natural form?" "We feel shame about a lot of things," I admitted. Zyra moved closer, studying my face with those impossible eyes. "How sad. On Vexara, we believe that hiding your body means hiding your intentions. If I cannot see you, how can I trust you?" I ran my hand through my hair. This was going to be a long arrangement. "Okay, new rule," I said firmly. "In this apartment and anywhere on Earth, you wear clothes. Shirt, pants, the works, non-negotiable." She considered this for a long moment. "And if I follow this rule, we will be friends? You will teach me about Earth?" "Yes, exactly." "Very well." She smiled, and it was like watching sunrise. "I will wear your strange fabric hiding skins." "But Ethan..." "Yeah? I think you are all hiding from much more than just your bodies." She wasn't wrong, but I wasn't ready to admit that yet. The next morning, I learned that agreeing to wear clothes and actually wearing clothes properly were 2 very different things. I stumbled into the kitchen at 7 a.m., desperately needing coffee, and found Zira standing at the counter wearing exactly 3 things: my college basketball jersey, 1 sock, and a look of intense concentration as she tried to figure out the coffee maker. "Good morning, Ethan," she said cheerfully. "I am wearing clothing. Are you proud?" The jersey barely reached mid-thigh. I immediately spun around, facing the wall. "Zira, that's not enough clothing. But you said shirt and pants." "This is a shirt." She tugged at the jersey. "It is very long. On Vexara, this would be a formal gown. It's a shirt, not a dress." "You need pants. Or at least underwear." "Underwear?" She giggled. "Underwear what is?" "You speak in riddles before morning beverage." I grabbed my head with both hands. "Underwear? The clothes you wear under other clothes." "That seems excessive. Why would you need 2 layers of hiding?" "Because," I stopped myself. How do you explain underwear to an alien? "Just trust me, pants, always pants." She sighed dramatically. "Earth has so many rules." "Do you have a rule book?" "I am very good at memorizing rules." "The rule book is called Common Sense, and apparently it doesn't translate," I muttered, finally risking a glance over my shoulder. "I'll make coffee. You go put on the jeans I gave you last night. The blue leg prisons. They are very uncomfortable. They're called jeans. And yeah, welcome to Earth." 20 minutes later, I was on a Zoom call with my boss, trying to pitch our new marketing strategy, when Zyra walked directly behind me wearing a towel like a cape and a colander on her head. "Ethan, I have a question about the waterfalling room," she announced loudly. My boss's eyebrow climbed into his hairline. My coworker David started coughing to hide his laughter. I muted myself. "Zyra, I'm working." "And what are you wearing?" "I bathed. The towel is for drying. And this," she tapped the colander, "I thought was a ceremonial head covering. You have so many mysterious objects." "That's for draining pasta." "Oh," she removed it, looking disappointed. "Your culture is very confusing." From my laptop speaker, I heard David unmute. "Ethan, buddy, is your roommate." "Okay." I unmuted myself, my face burning. "She's foreign, very foreign. Can we get back to the quarterly reports?" But it was too late. By lunch, half the office had messaged me. My friend Tyler sent, "Dude, your alien roommate is hot. Can I come over?" "For dinner? Or breakfast? Or literally any meal?" 3 other coworkers sent similar messages. Even Janet from HR wrote, "Please remind your guest about appropriate video call attire." That evening, Mrs. Patterson knocked on my door. The elderly woman had a reputation for reporting everything from loud music to suspicious grocery bags. "Mr. Brooks," she said primly, "I've been noticing unusual activity from your apartment." "Mrs. Patterson, I can explain. Now, that girl who moved in yesterday. I saw her this morning checking your mailbox wearing only a tablecloth." I closed my eyes. It was a misunderstanding about Earth fashion. "And yesterday she was completely naked in your doorway. She's from a different culture." "Very different." "Like extremely different." Mrs. Patterson leaned in, lowering her voice. "Mr. Brooks, I'm not judging. When I was young, we had the sexual revolution. I understand modern arrangements." She winked. Actually winked. "But perhaps keep the free love indoors?" Some of us remember the 60s, but Mrs. Chen next door is from the church committee. We're not, she's literally an alien." "Sure, dear. That's what we called foreigners in my day, too." She patted my arm knowingly and walked away. I wanted to die. That night, I sat Zira down for a serious talk. She was wearing proper clothes now, a t-shirt and shorts, but somehow still made me nervous. "Okay," I said carefully. "We need to establish boundaries, real ones." "I am listening," she said, folding her hands in her lap attentively. "First, always wear full clothing, shirt, pants, underwear, all of it. Second, when I'm on video calls, please don't walk through the room. Third, the tablecloth stays on the table. The decorative fabric is not a garment?" "No," she bit her lip, a surprisingly human gesture. "Ethan, can I ask you something?" "Sure." "Why do humans make intimacy so complicated? On Vexara, if you are attracted to someone, you simply say so. If you wish to mate, you ask directly. But here, everyone dances around everything. You all want to look, but pretend not to look. You want to connect, but you build walls of fabric and rules." She tilted her head. "It seems exhausting." I opened my mouth to argue, then closed it. She had a point. It's about respect," I finally said. and privacy, and not making people uncomfortable. But you are uncomfortable, she pointed out, all the time. You won't even look at me during conversations. Your eyes go to the ceiling, the floor, anywhere but my face. Are you afraid of me? No, I'm trying to be respectful. By not seeing me? She looked genuinely hurt. On Vexara, refusing to look at someone is the ultimate insult. It means they are beneath notice. My stomach twisted. I didn't know. I'm sorry, she smiled softly. We are both learning. You teach me about hiding. I will teach you about seeing. That sounds dangerous, I admitted. The best things usually are, she said, and something in her voice made my heart skip. This was going to be more complicated than I thought. If you make me try on one more bra, I am reporting you to the Intergalactic Cultural Crimes Division, Zira announced in the middle of Target. 3 soccer moms turned to stare. I wanted to crawl into a clothing rack and die. Keep your voice down, I hissed, pushing the cart faster down the women's section. And it's not a crime to wear appropriate undergarments. On Vexara it would be. She held up a lacy black number with visible disgust. This is clearly a torture device. Look at these tiny straps. They would cut off circulation. An elderly man browsing nearby suddenly became very interested in our conversation. Can we please just... I grabbed a pack of simple sports bras and threw them in the cart. These final answer. Let's go. But I haven't found pants that don't squeeze my legs like angry snakes. That's how jeans work. She pouted. An expression that absolutely should not have been cute on a purple alien, but somehow was. Your planet is oppressive. We compromised on leggings and oversized sweaters, which Zira declared acceptable, though impractical for temperature regulation. I added underwear, socks, and a jacket, trying very hard not to think about the fact that I was essentially clothes shopping with a gorgeous alien woman who thought I was uptight. At the checkout, the teenage cashier's eyes went wide seeing Zira's purple skin and pink hair. Cool cosplay, she said enthusiastically. Oh, this is not a costume, Zira replied pleasantly. I am genuinely alien. Would you like to see my extra organs? She started lifting her sweater. Nope. I practically threw my credit card at the scanner. We're good. She's kidding. Big anime fan. Love that weird sci-fi humor. Outside, Zira linked her arm through mine as we walked to the car. The casual touch made me freeze. What? She asked innocently. On Vexara, we walk physically connected to show we are friends. Is this wrong too? No, I admitted, my voice coming out weird. It's fine. Ethan, she said softly, you are vibrating. I'm not. Yes, you are. Your arm is shaking. Your breathing is faster. Your face is changing color again, more red than usual. She studied me with those diamond eyes. Are you ill? Or aroused? I nearly tripped over my own feet. Jesus, Zira. You can't just... People don't just ask that. Why not? It is a simple biological question. On Vexara, everyone's apparently a mind reader and nobody wears pants. I get it. I ran my free hand through my hair.
But here we have something called subtlety. Ah yes, subtlety. The art of feeling things intensely while pretending you feel nothing. She smiled mischievously.
You humans are very good at it. We drove home in loaded silence. Well, I was silent. Zira provided running commentary on everything we passed. Why do you display dead trees with lights? Is that a religious symbol? That restaurant serves only potatoes in different shapes? Fascinating. Why is that human walking a small furry animal on a rope? Back at the apartment, she immediately changed into her new clothes, or tried to. I heard crashes and frustrated alien cursing from her room. Ethan. I require assistance. What's wrong? This torture garment has defeated me. I knocked carefully. Can I come in? Yes, please. I am trapped. I opened the door to find Zira tangled in a sweater, arms stuck above her head, pink hair everywhere. She'd somehow gotten it twisted around her torso. How did you... Never mind. I stepped closer, trying not to laugh. Hold still. I gently worked the sweater fabric, trying to find where it had gotten twisted. This close, I could smell her. Something like rain and vanilla and something else, something alien and sweet. You are touching me very carefully, she observed, her voice muffled by fabric. Like I might break. I don't want to hurt you. Ethan. She managed to get one arm free, her hand finding my shoulder. I am not fragile. My species is actually quite durable. We can survive temperatures from -50 to +200 of your degrees. That's Impressive, I said, finally freeing her head. Our faces were suddenly very close. She didn't move back. We are also very straightforward about attraction. When we desire someone, we say so. No games, no hiding. My heart hammered. Zira, I find you attractive, Ethan Brooks, she said simply. Your kindness is beautiful. Your patience with my cultural mistakes makes my heart feel warm. And your body is pleasing even though you hide it under too many layers. I should have stepped back. I should have explained professional boundaries and roommate rules and all the very sensible human reasons this was complicated. Instead, I whispered, You're not supposed to just say that. Why not? It is true, because I swallowed hard. Because then I have to admit that I think you're the most amazing person, alien, whatever, that I've ever met. And that scares me. She smiled, brilliant and genuine. Good, fear means you are alive. Hiding means you are not. Her hand slid from my shoulder to my cheek. May I try something? What? A human bonding ritual I learned about. It is called kiss. You researched? Kissing? I research everything. She leaned closer. Is this acceptable? Do I need to fill out paperwork? Sign a contract? I laughed, surprising myself. No contracts, just yes. She kissed like she did everything. Directly, honestly, with no hesitation. Her lips were softer than I expected, warmer. When we finally pulled apart, she looked delighted. That was excellent. Your mouth is very skilled. Can we do it again? You're going to kill me, I said, but I was smiling. Only a little, she promised. Kissing me again. Later, sitting on the couch. Her head on my shoulder, she'd insisted. She asked, Ethan, why do humans make romance so complicated? You clearly desired me. I clearly desired you. Why wait? Why all the rules and dancing? I thought about it. Because we're afraid of being hurt, of being rejected, of being vulnerable. So you wear emotional clothes too, she said quietly, not just physical ones. Yeah, I admitted. I guess we do. She squeezed my hand. Then I will teach you how to be naked in the ways that matter. I kissed her hair. That sounds terrifying. The best things always are, she repeated, and I was starting to believe her. Explain to me again why the people on this screen are pretending not to love each other, Zyra said, pointing at the TV. We were 3 weeks into our arrangement, and movie night had become a ritual. Tonight, a classic rom-com that I'd thought would help explain human romance. I was very, very wrong. They're not pretending, I explained, passing her the popcorn. They just don't realize it yet. But it is obvious. He looks at her the way Vexaran males look at their chosen mates. His pupils dilate. His body angles toward her. He mirrors her movements. She munched thoughtfully. This is what you call subtle. It's complicated. Everything with humans is complicated. She curled closer, tucking her legs under her. She was wearing my old college hoodie and actually nothing else, which I'd learned to accept as her version of comfortable home attire. We'd reached an agreement. Proper clothes in public. Whatever she wanted at home. I was learning to be less uptight. Slowly. On Vexara, she continued, there is a bonding ritual. When you desire someone as a life partner, you show them your true form. But you don't wear clothes anyway. Isn't that always your true form? She laughed, the sound like wind chimes. Not that kind of form, silly earth boy. Your true self. The parts you hide from everyone else. Your fears, your shames, your secret dreams. You stand before them emotionally naked and say, this is me. All of me, do you still want me? My chest tightened. That sounds terrifying. Yes, she agreed softly. That is why it means something. On screen, the couple was having their big misunderstanding, the kind that would take 40 minutes and a dramatic airport scene to resolve. This would not happen on Vexara, Zira muttered. She would simply say, I love you, you stubborn fool, and he would say, I love you too, you beautiful disaster, and they would mate for life. Done. I laughed. Where's the drama in that? Where is the sense in drama? She paused the movie and turned to face me. Ethan, can I ask you something serious? Sure. Why have you not tried to mate with me? I choked on air. What? We have kissed many times. We touch frequently. You stare at me when you think I am not looking, which I always notice because I am looking at you also. But you never initiate more. She tilted her head. Am I unappealing? Do I not please you? God, no. I ran my hand through my hair. Zyra, you're incredible. But we barely know each other. We've only been living together for 3 weeks. On Vexara, we know within 3 minutes if someone is compatible. Well, humans are slower. She studied me with those impossible eyes. Or perhaps humans are afraid. Maybe, I admitted quietly. She took my hand, tracing patterns on my palm. Ethan Brooks, I will show you my true form now. The way of my people. Will you do the same? What does that mean? I will tell you something true. Something I hide. She took a breath. I am afraid that I will never fit in on your world. That I will always be too strange, too direct, too naked in all the ways that matter. I worry that when the exchange program ends, I will have to return to Vexara, and I will have learned to wear your clothes but never learned to wear your hearts. Her voice cracked. And I am afraid that I am falling in love with you and you will never let me close enough to catch you. My heart stopped. Then started again, faster. Your turn, she whispered. I'd spent 30 years building walls, being appropriate, being professional, being safe, and here was this purple alien goddess asking me to tear them all down. I'm afraid, I started slowly, that I'm not interesting enough, that my life is boring, work, home, same routine. I'm afraid that you'll realize I'm just average, that the most exciting thing about me is having you as a roommate. I forced myself to keep going. And I'm afraid that I'm already in love with you and you'll leave and I'll go back to being the guy who never takes risks. Zira's eyes shimmered. I'd learned that was how her species cried. You think you are average? Ethan, you are the first person in 3 planets who has treated me like a person, not a curiosity. You are patient when I am confused. You laugh at my mistakes without being cruel. You made me a chart about underwear types. She touched my face. You are extraordinary. I made you a chart because you tried to wear a bra as a hat, and it was the kindest chart I have ever seen. She leaned closer. Ethan, I wish to mate with you. Not because of biology or curiosity, because of this. She pressed her hand over my heart. Because when I am with you, I do not feel alien. I feel home. I kissed her then, and it was different from before. Deeper. Honest. My hands found her waist under the hoodie. Her skin warm and impossibly soft. She made a sound, something between a gasp and a laugh, and pulled me closer. Wait, I breathed against her lips. Are you sure? Ethan, she said seriously. I am from a species that can sense emotional compatibility through bioelectric fields. I have known since the first day that we were compatible. The question is, do you know? I answered by kissing her again, standing and pulling her with me. She wrapped her legs around my waist, remarkably easy given her height, and I carried her to my bedroom. Just so you know, I said, setting her down on the bed. Humans are really awkward about this part. I know. I watched educational videos on your internet. Please tell me you didn't. I did not watch the naked videos. I watched the ones about feelings and communication and consent. She pulled me down beside her. I am a very dedicated student. What followed was clumsy and perfect and nothing like the movies. I knocked over a lamp. She accidentally headbutted me. We laughed more than we probably should have. But when I held her after, her head on my chest, our legs tangled together, it felt more right than anything in my entire average, boring, beautiful life. Ethan, she whispered into the dark. Yeah? Thank you for removing your masks for me. I kissed her hair. Thank you for teaching me how. Outside, Mrs. Patterson's footsteps paused by my door. I could practically feel her knowing smile through the wall. Whatever. Let her gossip. I'd finally learned that some things were worth being seen for. The Earth Culture Festival was everything I'd promised. Music, food, art from around the world, and Zira was wearing actual clothes. Full clothes, a sundress, with shoes, and a jacket. I almost didn't recognize her. How do I look? She asked, twirling nervously in my living room. Is this appropriately festive? The shopkeeper said this style is called bohemian chic. You look beautiful, I said honestly, but also kind of weird. Weird bad? Weird different. I'm not used to you being covered. She laughed, that wind chime sound I'd come to love. For 3 months you begged me to wear clothes. Now that I do, you miss me being naked? I'm a complicated man, I said, offering my arm. Ready to show Earth what you've got? Ready to show Earth what we have, she corrected, linking her arm through mine. The festival was crowded, colorful, overwhelming in the best way. Zira's eyes went wide at the Indian sari display, the Japanese tea ceremony, the Brazilian drum circle. She tasted everything, asked everyone questions, and charmed absolutely everyone she met. "Your girlfriend is amazing," said the woman running the Ethiopian coffee booth. "Where's she from?" "Vexara Prime," Zira answered cheerfully before I could make up something normal. "Is that near Ethiopia?" "No, it is approximately 4,000 light-years from your solar system." The woman laughed, thinking it was a joke. I'd learned to just go with it. We were watching a traditional Irish dance performance when Tyler showed up with 2 other guys from work. "Of course, Ethan, my man!" Tyler clapped me on the shoulder, then immediately turned to Zira. "And you must be the famous roommate." "I'm Tyler. These are Brandon and Mike. We've heard so much about you." Zira shook hands politely. "Have you heard about my planet's mating rituals?" "Ethan finds them fascinating." I closed my eyes. "Zira, please." "What? You do find them fascinating? You ask me about them frequently, especially at—" "So," I interrupted loudly. "Food trucks." "Let's get food." Tyler grinned like Christmas came early. "Oh, I like her. She's keeping you honest, Brooks." As we walked toward the food vendors, Zira leaned close. "Was I inappropriate again?" "You are vibrating. Just maybe don't mention our private conversations in public." "Why, humans discuss mating constantly." "I have learned your phrases. Getting lucky. Netflix and chill. Swiping right. Your species is obsessed with mating but refuses to discuss it directly. It is very confusing." Brandon, who'd been eavesdropping, burst out laughing. "She's got a point." We ate tacos, watched a Brazilian dance performance, and listened to a spoken-word poet who made Zira cry. The emotion. The raw vulnerability. This would be excellent for a bonding ritual. As the sun started setting, we found a spot on the grass to watch the closing ceremony. That's when Zira got quiet. "What's wrong?" I asked, taking her hand. "Nothing is wrong. Everything is very right. That is the problem." She looked at me with those diamond eyes. "My exchange program ends in 6 weeks. My stomach dropped. Somehow I'd been avoiding thinking about that. 6 weeks, I repeated numbly. Yes, then I returned to Vexara Prime, continue my studies, eventually mate with someone suitable from my planet, have offspring, live a normal Vexaran life. She said it flatly, like reading a grocery list. "Oh, unless," she continued, squeezing my hand, "I apply for permanent residency, which requires an Earth sponsor, someone who would vouch for my character and my value to human society." I turned to face her fully. "Are you asking—" "I'm asking if you want me to stay, Ethan Brooks." Her voice shook slightly. "I am asking if this us is real enough to build a life on. Because on Vexara we have a saying, home is not a place. Home is a person who sees you." She touched my face. "You see me, all of me. Even the parts I hide, and I see you, the parts you thought were boring but are actually beautiful." Around us, people were gathering for the ceremony. Music started playing. Lights began glowing as dusk fell. I thought about the past 3 months. The chaos, the laughter, the mortifying Zoom calls and tablecloth incidents, the way she'd taught me to be honest, the way I'd taught her to be patient, how we'd built something impossible together. "Zira of House Moon Whisper," I said formally, making her giggle. "I would be honored to sponsor your permanent residency, on one condition." "What condition?" "You have to promise to keep teaching me about being naked, the way you mean it. The emotional way, the scary way." She kissed me then in front of everyone, and I didn't care who saw. "Deal," she whispered against my lips. "But I should warn you, my people mate for life. Once we bond, that is it. No takebacks." "Sounds terrifying." "The best things always are," she said, and I finally understood what she meant. As the closing ceremony began, I held her close, watching lights illuminate the night. Mrs. Patterson was probably taking notes for her next neighborhood gossip session. Tyler was definitely going to make jokes at work. My mom was going to have so many questions when I finally told her, but none of that mattered, because I'd spent 30 years wearing masks, hiding behind appropriate and normal and safe. And this purple alien goddess had shown me what was on the other side of those masks. Connection. Truth. Love that didn't apologize for existing. "Ethan," Zira murmured, her head on my shoulder. "Yeah? I am glad I forgot to pack clothes that first day." I laughed, kissing her pink hair. "Me too. Best mistake ever." "It was not a mistake," she admitted. "I did research Earth customs. I knew about your clothing rules. Wait, you were naked on purpose? Of course. How else would I test if you were worthy? Anyone can be polite to a properly dressed stranger. But you were kind to me even when I made you uncomfortable. That is when I knew. She looked up at me, eyes sparkling. You were worth keeping. You're diabolical. I prefer strategically innovative. She grinned. It is the Vexeran way. As fireworks began exploding overhead, painting the sky in colors that matched her skin, I held her tighter. Maybe she never understood why humans wear clothes. But thanks to her, I finally understood why we wear masks, and more importantly, I learned how to take them off. On Vexara Prime, they say the bravest thing you can do is let someone see you. Turns out, Earth could learn a thing or two from that. But don't tell Zyra I admitted it, she'll never let me live it down. Ethan Brooks, in his autobiography, My Alien Girlfriend Ruined My Life, in the best way,